who's facing homicide charges in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I never will forget when he shot my mom, the laugh that he did.
In 2011, 16-year-old Thomas was driving around in a stolen minivan with Malik Merchant and Jimmy Scales when they stopped at West Lisbon Avenue and attempted to rob Sharon Staples. Thomas allegedly jumped out of the car and threatened Sharon to give up her purse, but when she resisted, Thomas fatally shot her. Sharon was 12 weeks pregnant at the time. Thomas was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree reckless homicide for killing Sharon and her unborn child. He later pleaded guilty to those charges.
I'ma kill D. Thomas, accept full responsibility for my part that brought your family such pains.
During sentencing, Judge David Borowski had a few words for the teenage killer's family.
And I think of a more serious, aggravated set of circumstances than what went on here. Mr. Thomas has an awful juvenile record. Awful. Was not being raised well. And that is the fault of the parents.
Thomas was initially calm and silent, but after he learned he'd spend most of his adult life in prison, all hell broke loose. Thomas looked towards his family and attempted to move towards them. This prompted court deputies to tackle him to the ground, causing an outburst among those sitting in the gallery. The deputies managed to get him to his feet, but they couldn't control the teenager. Finally, Thomas was restrained and removed from the courtroom. A sheriff took hold of the situation and calmed the irate family members down.
No good is going to be done by this courtroom being disrupted. Okay? What's going to happen is we are going to allow the other people that were in this courtroom to leave. Okay?
Eventually, the crowd started leaving. A deputy asked a guy named Chuck to wait, but Chuck was having none of it.
Just wait, okay? We're gonna let everybody go. Mama right there. Come on, I tell my fucking little brother, leave it alone.
He was promptly cuffed and taken into custody. Ultimately, Michael Thomas was sent to 35 years in prison with 10 years of extended supervision. As for Malik Merchant, who police said acted as a lookout, he was sentenced to 17 years in prison. The getaway driver, Jimmy Scales, was sentenced to 25 years in prison, while Michael Thomas showed great physical strength and defiance in court.
Hey, look, man. This one here, man, this is a hard one. You know, makes me think, how does a person have to be raised? What does it take to make a young person such as these guys? What type of upbringing or programming, what type of people, who raised these guys? Who raised these type of guys, man? That's my number one question. Who raised these type of guys, man? You know, I mean, this story here, man, is one of them stories, man. It beyond saddens me, man, because this woman, Not only was she innocent, man, but this woman was pregnant. She was pregnant. And never did it cross her mind that she was going to be encountered by such a fucking loser, man. You know, such a crumb, scumbag, such a fucking just dishonorable punk. Like, who, I don't understand, man. Who raised these young guys, man? You know, where are the men at in these guys' lives, man? Where are the men at? Where are the real men? Because evil has run rampant, man, and evil is praised in society, man. You know, and a lot of times, we have a family, and I'm gonna say a dysfunctional family because that's exactly what it is. You know, you have these families. They have a young, a young man, adolescent, going through puberty, growing into his adult years, and he'll get involved in the streets. And they hear about him, they hear about all the havoc that he's raising in the neighborhood. They hear about all that. And instead of trying to put the fire out, instead of trying to have the uncle or the father or whoever, it's just somebody with some sense, try to talk some sense into this child. A lot of times, the mother, the sister, the cousins, the brothers, they seem to praise this individual, man, as they go down the wrong path. And it's sad, man, because this is the norm. Especially, and I'm going to speak on, the neighborhoods and the environments that I've come up in. And that's the way it is, man. A lot of times, man. Not all the time, but a lot of times. Instead of us trying to correct the actions, man, and try to correct these young men in our families, man, that we see going down the wrong path, a lot of times we praise them. We praise them. We use their names because we feel like these young men have some sort of clout and some sort of reputation that they ain't to be fucked with. And anybody attached to them, any of their family, if you know they ain't to be, if you know this man, if you know this young man ain't to be fucked with, then you know not to mess with his family. And that's what it all boils down to, man. And that's a lot of times, that's why these family members, they ride or die, man, for these type of young guys, man. You know what I mean? Whether they right or wrong. And it's just dysfunctional, man. It's dysfunctional thinking. It's just the upbringing, man. And it normally, most of the time, it ends up for the worst. It ends up turning out for the worst. And as you can see, this young guy here. As you can see, this is sort of similar to another video I did about a young guy, man, who his family blurted out to the victim's family that we hate you. We hate y'all. When they did nothing. They did nothing. They did nothing, man. But come to court to get their justice for their loved one that they lost at the hands of your son, your brother, your cousin. You know what I mean? But this case here, man, it's just like that case. And it's just another dysfunctional situation, man. The crime that he committed, which is just brutal, man. Just, another one of those, man. It just never gets old, man. Because there's a young guy right now that's growing up in a dysfunctional family that is going to eventually commit an act such as this one. you know, and it's sad, man, that it's just like a cycle, man, you know. And then this young guy was riding around town with his, you know, with his two homeboys, and they were looking for somebody to rob, and they pulled up, you know, to a store, and the lady was sitting there, and they attempted to rob her, and she gave some type of pushback, and this young guy, he shot her to death. You know, just all because the lady resisted. All because she resisted. You know, he took her life away from her. And just left her family, man, to go through some of the worst, you know, the worst pain a person could ever go through, man. Knowing that their loved one was murdered because they resisted an armed robbery by some little dirt bomb, some little dirt ball, you know, by some crumb. They ain't nothing but crumbs, man. They crumbs, man. You know, and it's crazy because you got a lady who's no longer here, man, because these three young guys had no guidance, had no old heads, nobody to talk to them, nobody that they look up to, nobody that they respect, that could talk to them, man, and set them straight, put them on the right path, you know. And like I said, man, sadly, there are many young guys out here like that, you know, whether they do have somebody in their ear and they just not listening, or they just, you know, going through the emotions, going through the phases, man, that a lot of young guys go through. And some young guys end up taking it too far when they're going through those phases, and they end up taking a life, an innocent life, you know. And once you do that, there's no going back. And I say it in every video. You might be tired of hearing it, man, but I'm going to keep saying it. Once you take a person's life, there is no going back. There is no do-overs, man. You know. But and I also want you young guys to know, man, that being the necessity to the crime, you are just as much held accountable as the person who pulled the trigger. So let me put it this way. If there are three of you, one of you are the driver, the other one, you know, he just the tag along, but then the third guy is just, he's the main shooter. You know, he's the high head. You know, he's the leader of the crew and all that, right? Just understand this. Whatever crime you guys commit, whether it was just one of y'all, don't think because you're not the one who pulled the trigger, you're not the one that's going to be held accountable for the murder. Because let me tell you something, right? 99% of the time, conspirators are hit with the same sentence as the main suspect. So just understand that. You can just be riding along, whether you were just a driver, and your homeboy spots somebody, or whether it's an op or just a person that y'all plan to, you know, rob and take something from. If your homeboy jump out that car, you are the driver, and your homeboy fell, you know, to obtain what he wanted from that person, and something inside him triggers him to blow this person away, and he comes back and jump in your car, you are going to be held just as much accountable as the guy who pulled that trigger. And let me tell you something. Whether he jumped back in your car or he don't jump back in your car, if he jumped out of your car and he murdered somebody and he take the alleyways or sprint or do whatever, however he get away, and you happen to pull off, let me tell you something. There are satellite cameras. There are doorbell ring cameras. There are store cameras. There are red light cameras. All these things are going to assist law enforcement in bringing justice to the families of this person who's been murdered, who's been taken off of this earth at the hands of you scumbags, because y'all just won't listen. Nobody could talk to y'all. You know, y'all feel like going on these missions is what make y'all a man. This is what make y'all respected. There are many ways to get respect, man. A real man don't get respect. A real man don't get respect by putting a gun to somebody. By putting a gun to somebody for no reason, man. And blowing a person away because they resisted. And you're mad because your ego. Even with a gun, they wouldn't give it to me. Even with a gun in my hand. A lot of times when they got these guns in their hand, man, they feel like they got all the power, man. Your life is in their hands. And when you resist, oh, it hurts so bad, man. They already know they nothing. But when they can't have their way with a gun in their hand, it just does something to them, man. It just confirms that they are nothing, like they already knew. And that breaks them down, man. And in that moment, they get frustrated with themselves. And as a result, they end up pulling that trigger, man, and taking somebody off of this earth, committing a stupid act that they will never be able to go back on, man. And at the end of the day, it happens all the time, man. But I just want you young guys, man, to think before you act. Think before you act, man. Think before you get around these, the wrong guys, man. Think before you be influenced. Before you be influenced by the wrong guys, man, because they will lead you down the wrong path, man. And of course, it feels good when you ride with the homies, man, and you having it your way day in, day out until that final day. Until that day when somebody fuck up. Just one person in the crew fuck up. Everybody's going to pay the price. Everybody's going to have their day, man, in court. Everybody's going to get interrogated, whether you speak or you don't speak. Trust me. And just because you got a good lawyer doesn't mean you got down payment on your freedom. Because a lot of times, these lawyers will take your money. They'll take your money, even if they know they have no case. They will take your money, man, and they'll make it sound juicy. They'll make it sound like, we put this motion and put that motion and everything be all right. Just sit tight. Just sit tight. You spent your money in the right place. We're going to do this, man. We're a team. We're working together. Yeah, they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear. But when that day come, man, when it's time to go to court, and whether you pick a judge or a jury, when they see how much of a monster you are, don't expect them to have any type of mercy on you. I don't care how much money you came out of your pocket, how much money your family came out of their pocket, whether they put their house up or whatever, it doesn't matter. If you are a criminal, just be able to stand what you do, man. Stand what you do. Just know that there are consequences for every action. And a lot of times, when you get in front of these judges, they're going to see you exactly for who you are. So anyway, take that with you, man. Anyway, until next time, it's your boy, Mr. 1751. Bring you another 1751 reaction. And until next video, y'all stay up.
Yeah. Devil let to my soul, I can't let him get to me. Can't
can't let them get to me. Trying to be a different man, I'm not who I used to be. Had to switch my whole imagery, I'm a changed man. If I didn't believe in myself, who would've believed in me? Even when I was down, nobody knew I needed help. Who would've thought I ain't eat? Many days, many nights had to swallow my pride and just go to sleep.